a chance to kind of dabble a little bit and just play around with it?
I've opened it up. I haven't really played around with it at all. I've just
Okay.
opened up our sandbox and whatnot.
Okay. Okay. Then let me go through the first really kind of overview on what it is and what the layout and what are the keys and things that you end up using most of the time. Excuse me, my throat is a little dry here. But basically, you can do most of the stuff in the navigator in terms of like doing the setup and the styling of the data layer as you go by. But it doesn't give you that flexibility. And most of the time, I would encourage you to actually start on the back end. We call it operator. So you see it basically right in front of you. This is the result of all your work bringing in all the GIS data. But in the end, you would actually try to go in the back end and familiarize with what and when and how the data is brought in. So I'll jump straight to the back. So going to the operator here, there we go. Right now, I'll give you a difference between the production and pre-development and so forth and so on. So we're working on the full right now, the so-called they call it the release version, where basically it's public utilization and basically for yourself. This is enough tool set that allows you to get the job done. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll walk through one by one. So the dashboard essentially is just give you a summary on the accounts that currently you would be logged into. So since you're going to be the residence administrator, it gives you the amount of records, that is basically data that you brought in, and the project view and how many people are looking at it right now. And of course, storage. Right now, the current version that you guys are subscribed to allows you to have 10 gigabyte of data. And that you can expand it as you require. You can actually ask for like more storage if you have a large swath of data that you accumulate over the time. Most of the time, we try to encourage you to try to stream your data for the source. I don't know currently has Avondale like a REST API, like an Esri kind of server type environment. Do you guys have?
Uh, I don't know if we do or not. I have to check with Harley, our
Okay,
GIS person.
I'm suspecting that you guys are depending on Maricopa County GIS department to host most of the data that you will require. That is pretty much we've learned from Phoenix, Mesa, let's see, Tempe too a little bit. But like I said, most of the city would use Maricopa County Esri REST API for the very common data like parcel data, images, and so forth and so on. But those are the one that saves you a lot of storage space. So I would encourage it if they have it, don't bother to try to bring it into your local server. Just stream it as you go along. And those actually function as just as well as if you actually have a version of the data brought under your account. I hope that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. This is a statistic of like entity data you save and break down and so forth. The API requested basically is we have actually set up one of the things for you, the image overlay. So Maricopa County probably has the most current image data they have captured. I think is it 2024? If my kind of guesstimation was because based on the account they told me, those are the ones. And like the most common search attributes that you guys are looking for and so forth and so on. So it's the more you use, the more dashboard will populate more data information that you go along. Okay, then there's the server job. Anytime you run anything like doing a query, upload a data set, you actually create a foot a record of the kind of server job that you have, like uploading of data, doing a query, or doing like a data search for updates, delete, and so forth and so on. So you actually pretty much have every record that you run on this account and this particular section. So if you ever want to kind of retroactively go back, because not only your account, any person in this particular project will have their records stored here. Any kind of actionable item, any kind of operation you use, you'll show up here. Okay, so now here comes the project view. Okay, this is where you can set up your project, like the sandbox that we're talking about. Previously, we decided to send an Avondale sandbox for the beginning, but now you can actually create your own personal sandbox if you want. So you can kind of use it as like a trial and error and basically play around with it and so forth and so on. Let me break down into the sandbox itself. And basically it includes, let's see, it's a little bit running slow today. So the menu item, the related data, access control, etc. I'll go through one by one. Menu item includes all the data layer that you'll be creating. In this case, the OSM building, OpenStreetMap building, the footprint, which I brought in maybe in the beginning. Essentially what it is basically a footprint that we extrude the height of the Z value so that it looks like a 3D model, polygon, okay? Then the Google Mesh, you know it as the so-called like Google Mesh, what was it? Let me drag this out over here, and this is the Google Mesh. You've seen it before, like on Google Earth, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the Google Mesh. Next is, of course, the massing sites. And it was Abby that sent me all these Avondale buildings that we created for them for their massing, including the shopping complex and so forth. I'll fly around the data point, then you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And one of the things was the Maps API. So we did a what I call Google Places. So this is one of the searches that we wanted to generate from the Google Maps API, which is places where the restaurants, etc., etc. So another job site for the fries bucket. So let's go to the thing where I can show you exactly. It corresponds to here. So the menu item is just a reflection of all the items here. I hope you see what it's saying like right here.
Okay,
So,
I see what you're
yeah,
saying.
so it's a one-to-one match. Okay, the only difference
Okay.
is I'll show you. In the navigator, there's limited so-called functionality that allows you to create any kind of data layer. So you are only limited to, like, for example, edit, which is basically the data that you can load, the data layer, whether you can change or add data to it, view optimization, and so forth and so on. It doesn't allow you to do any kind of styling. In this case, this is where you need the back end. So I'll show you. In the footprint, this is called styling. What you mean by styling? Essentially, you can actually decide the data you bring in is a vector data. If it's a polygon or a polyline or for geometry, then there's point files for your vector data. Those are the two options for vector, okay? But there's an option called 3D model, which is basically a CyberCity data that allows you to create real graphic 3D models. So basically, they are not extruded or so-called from footprint. They are actually 3D graphic model of a representation of the model. I'll show you exactly what it means by here. Let me then and turn off here. Turn off that. Okay, come on. So this morning is running a little bit on the slow side. There we go. Turn this off. Okay, come on. Okay, here we go. Let me zoom out a little bit and turn on the Phoenix tile set. And okay, this is what I'm trying to explain. So this is a graphic model of a 3D building. Okay.
Okay.
And see here. Let's see, where is the student? Right. Okay. Wing fusion, fusion 2. Okay. Okay. So this, okay, as I was saying, this is like a 3D model, as you can see from the shadowing. It's not an extruded footprint. It's actually a graphic 3D file, like a true 3D model. And here, okay, when you're done, this is a extruded footprint. Let's go. Yeah, we go. Let's see, you can pop it in here. Come on. Computer is running slow today, so excuse me for for trying to kind of get. Okay, there we go. So this is extruded footprint, where we take the outline of a building and take the height and generate a polygon representation of a 3D model. So that's the difference between both of them. Okay. Yeah. So when you're doing a styling, if you're doing like the footprint, I'll show you the data points here. Essentially, it's a polygon outline. And let's see here whether actually, okay. So when you look at it overall, you're only seeing the outline of the building. You don't see anything in terms of like any kind of complex geometry. It doesn't give you any roof line, so-called extrusion. As you can see from here, we have more detail because it's a graphic file. So you have roof line detail, you have secondary detail for the roof edges and overhangs and so forth and so on. So this is a more complex representation of a true 3D model. The reason why we have both versions is one is Avondale did not purchase a build out using CyberCity's in-house technology to generate the kind of detailed image, a 3D model. You guys could ask for order. The thing is, we actually have to use satellite imagery in order to generate this kind of detail for all the rooftop information. So all the HVAC, all the special architecture design, and so forth, so on, is part of the CyberCity so-called in-house technology. But at the same time, you can actually generate 3D model using our third-party 3D graphic modeler. If you guys want to go that way, you guys can do that too. But the downside is basically the cost of it is a little bit more expensive, while footprints are so much cheaper because basically you are just taking available polygon outline and give it a Z value. In this case, the height right here, and give that the height value. And I'll show you how we do it. So in the footprint, when it's a geometry, you can actually create in the styling an extruded 3D footprint. And from there, you can take the height in each individual footprint and take that value and generate the actual height of the building in the sense of the actual kind of supposedly height of the building. The downside is there's no detail on the rooftop because, as you know, polygons are polygon unless you give it more detail, right?
Right.
So, you got any question? I mean, I know this is a little bit kind of disjointed, but I guess it's all about your economic ability to want to spend that kind of money. If you guys have a budget for it, yes, then it will look very, very promising because I'll turn off a footprint. Then you get all this detail. You see all these like roof dormer and HVAC and everything. All these little detail on the rooftop will be created, and you'll end up looking like the building that Cyber City has.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have no idea. I would say we're going to go with the less expensive way, just knowing our budget right now.
Yeah, I know. So Abby did explain that you guys are more interested in what you call doing a site design and site survey compared to trying to be like Phoenix, where they actually wanted to have a more realistic representation of the downtown area. In this case, Phoenix downtown, which has the stadium and so forth and so on, which they have a deeper pockets. Let's just say that's the truth behind it. They have deeper
Right.
pockets, yeah. So they have more tech space, and that's the reason why. But plus on top of it, because we actually pre-built up most of it, as you can tell, we have a very sizable area. Let me change it at the bottom. You can see better. Let's see. drag it a little bit on top, and there you go. This is our coverage for the downtown Phoenix area, which
Okay.
is quite sizable. So, but coming back to the menu item, okay, here we go. So so now there's three, like I said, 3D model, geometry, point, and vector that includes polygon and polylines. So the styling, not only you can change the height, you can change the color, you can change outline, and so forth and so on. So the flexibility is all there. So in this case, polylines, like in this case, I don't know, you guys actually have polyline. I think you guys were limited to maybe, oh, okay. Let me go to the area that is jumping around. So let's go to the Avondale and Van Buren, the job site. This is the first one we did. So this is the massing. Abby had some money. Oh, this is the model I was talking about. We can use third-party model to actually create close enough to, because in this case, it doesn't exist yet. Let me show you why. Because oh yeah, the layer is there. Okay, let me turn that off. There we go. Come on. Okay, let me turn that off. This is actual site. As you can
Okay.
see, it's nothing there. So Abby gave me a architecture kind of rendering of what the site would look like. And I was able to bring it in and basically go from there. So essentially what it is it basically allows me to overlay the building massing site. So let me turn that off. And basically it's a blank slate. So what we have is the third-party modeler comes in, look at the kind of job site, and started to create 3D model for it. So it becomes a very well suited kind of way of representing what could be here. So as you can see from there you go. That's the called a massing. So you could see the difference between an extruded footprint, which is already there, to a mass site that has 3D geometry with detail in it.
Right.
Okay, so hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I see the difference.
Yeah, I see a difference there. But this is an even more advanced version of the Fry's Marketplace. You guys probably talked in-house quite a bit about this location here. There. So we did some massing them. Actually, Abby decided to invest more by actually building a 3D model of what a Fry's Marketplace will look like, including a signage, detail, texture, and so forth and so on. So this is one of her most advanced model that she purchased from us. And of
Okay.
course, we have a architecture outline of the location site, which currently doesn't exist. Let me see, I can show, there we go, there. It's just still farmland right now.
Right.
So the architect gave us a so-called blueprint of what the site would look like. So what we did was essentially took that, overlay on top of it, and kind of create a massing kind of area around it based on the most possible close representation. This is a traffic corner, and this is the edge of the other side of it. So eventually, as we get more information from the architect in terms of like the same here rendering as the Van Buren and Avondale area, where they start putting all these like figurines of like parking, vegetation, ground landscaping, and so forth and so on. We can do the same here. If they want, if we finish create an artistic rendering of the area, we can take this one out and put their version of it. So this
Okay.
give you, yeah, the flexibility of switching and advance more detail comes in. You can update it as you go along.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what so far two projects that Abby, you guys have us set up. So, but there are other places that we are actually helping her to do, like the Hermosa Ranch Tech area, where I think you guys are hoping to create a data center, right? I
Ooh.
believe.
I know
Yeah,
we've talked about data centers. I'm not sure of the location or what it's called, but yeah,
yeah.
that would make sense.
Yes, because as you can see, there's a lot of open space. Now, these are the areas that are so-called quote unquote under consideration So including this site here, which is the data center. So we create a polygon of this area with the information. Now, this is where you can come in and populate the area with more information as you go along. And basically, we have helped a little bit, like the URL, where you can actually do a hyperlink and pop up to whatever location that it has the information. It's built in. Or if you have more data points that you want to add, you can actually expand and add more attributes as you see fit coming in.
Okay.
Okay. So the flexibility is all in the navigator, a lot of flexibility here. And you can actually select which one you want to only see. So for example, only valid ones, things that has information, or you only want to see the preferred one, basically only valid and preferred. So there's a flexibility on what kind of data you want to showcase off. Okay, so then I'll go another one, and it's the mixed use that I think was earmarked for like some sort of a mixed business and I believe so-called residential and businesses. I'm not sure exactly. You probably know it better than I do. Then you can jump to the city hall and government location, which we created for you using the OSM building. And there's a public safety detention area, which makes me like it has nothing there yet, or has it? It looks like a safety detention. Is it like a jail cell?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, it's in the process of being built. I'm guessing. And a community center, we can jump to that location, which is still being built, I guess. And there's a shop at Ascent. Yeah, okay. So this is going to be a shopping complex from the looks of it. And let's see here. There's a ALP Industry Park. So you guys might be expanding and getting more. And Premium Underground, not sure exactly what it was or is. So there. These are the bounded area. Let's see if there any information that Abby has sent us. Slow side. Okay. Oh, there we go. There. Okay. There. Okay. Not much information except the realtor advisor is ready to go. Uh, there. Okay. I guess. Yeah, if I got has a building, if information is ready to go, I can actually put it there for you guys. And of course, the last one is the West Avondale SR85 area, which is basically a huge industry area. Okay, so going back to the background here. So far, so good that you can style and how to style it and so forth and so on. I'll show you how to bring in the data now.
Okay.
Okay, so under entities, there's the things called import files. So these are the data that you can bring in, ranging from GeoJSON, JSON, CSV, TIFF file, KML. Unfortunately, I know most of the data, sometimes GIS data is like shapefile. So my suggestion is go take the shapefile that you have. You probably used QGIS before, right?
Used what?
QGIS.
I have not used QGIS.
Oh, you have not? It's a free version for that is similar to uh, Pro, which is basically Esri,
Okay.
and it's a free version you can download. It has everything that you ever want as a GIS tool.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll get with our GIS people.
Yeah.
Who probably know a lot more about it.
Okay, so yeah, and they will actually direct you to, if not, just generate to a KML file. So actually right now in front of me, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Okay, let me go back to the thing again. There. Okay. So once you bring in the GIS data, I'll grab one and I'll show you exactly how to go about doing that. Let's see if I have anything sitting around like you can grab. Type. There we go. Okay. Okay. So once you bring the data in, city build height from shapefile, you can actually give it a name that you want, like in this case, a temp. From there, okay, come on. Okay, I guess it's city building height from shapefile. Create. Oh shoot. Okay, bad idea. Too long. Let me see. I'll go back. Get rid of this. Sometimes you have to kind of be wary of the file name when it's too long. It eats
Okay.
up everything. Yeah, that's why usually I try to kind of not do that. Let's see. Type. It was one of them. Okay, live demo. That's what happens when you do that.
No problem.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's see where's the camera. Okay, let me see. She has a lot of files here. Yeah, I need to clean it up. It's one of those bad habits. Okay, thought I found it. Oh, there we go. Okay, down the area. Let's see. Let's open that. Okay, it's a polygon, so it's perfect. Come on. No. It's a little on the slow side here. Come on. No, it's not that big. Come on. Okay, it's just disconcerting. Let's try this again. It's a small file. Oh, okay. Huh. Are they having a server issue over there? Oh, by the way, the Nextspace right now is Amazon. They're using Amazon, and unfortunately, they're located way in Australia.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have this little lag time. So once in a while, you have that thing going. So let me see if I can do this time. Pick a small one. There we go. There we go. And this time I won't make a mistake of picking it up. So it should be same building height. Create. There. So once you have the data in, you actually can examine attributes. So this is the KML file on the left that you're bringing in. This is what the data will look like stored in Nextspace.
Okay.
So I'll go through the line by line. KML is basically the place block name, the icon scale, typical KML file attribute. This is the internal representation on Nextspace called entities. That includes a location, which is lat, long, and altitude, any kind of transformation, and boundaries and geometry. Geometry essentially is the polygon either as a vector in polygon and or polylines, or even a point file. So these are the local representation of how the data is stored in so-called quote unquote Nextspace. There's also another way of doing it because if you have like any kind of unique identified key that you want to bring in, there's ways to kind of earmark it. So for example, you can click on this and let's see here. Come on, here. And you can actually make it so that this key is a foreign key. So in other words, almost like a universal unique identifier. And as parcel data in the GIS world, those are the unique identifier, right? For all that database, including parcel, building number, building ID, and so forth, so on. If you have that key, you want to be able to earmark and say, this is a foreign key that allows you to use that as a way to join databases that comes in multiple types ranging from like building permits to so-called parcel information to property owners information, and goes on and on and on. If you have that unique identity key and you know that field is going to be existing in every database, you can use that as a way of joining multiple databases into one giant single one. So
Okay.
subsequently, when you bring in another database that has that unique ID key, you can make it so you don't have to bring the whole table in. You can selectively bring in fields that you want from certain tables during the import process and join it to a master database inside Nextspace. So from there, you can use that as a foundation for all your so-called database searches, and you don't have to bring in again and again and again. Once you bring in one version of it, you're linked forever. So anytime you bring in the next one, the key will actually automatically identify, I have a unique ID that basically links to database. What are the fields you want to bring in? So you start selecting the fields that you want and create it and join or append, or you can create a brand new database again and again. That's it.
Okay.
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 So yeah, the GIS department will actually kind of give you an idea how once you do that. Once you're done, basically hit save, then go next, and basically there's three mode. You can add, as in basically from nothing, update if they're pre-existing, which is the unique key allows you to do, and
Okay.
lastly, replace what you have. Basically, most people don't replace because unless the database they brought in has already been brought in, so you don't usually replace. You just kind of want to add to the field, or basically add means append to it. Okay, that's what generally means. Okay, here we go. So now, once you're done in entities, you can actually look at it by looking for the database and hit search. There you go. So each data brought in has what we call 4 modes, which is basically internal representation of the data, next space, which includes lat long and altitude, the boundary in which the geometry has a boundary that allows you to box it in. And lastly, if it has any weird so-called 3D geometry graphic, it allows you to do heading, pitch, roll, and so forth and so on. And I think that it is a data schema of JSON. If you're familiar with JSON, this is how they store the data.
Okay.
And GeoJSON read-only allows you to do the lat long of all the properties of the geometry. If you know how to read data, JSON and GeoJSON, then this is more relevant to you. But generally, most people will just look at a data field here and just
Right.
go through it. Yeah. Okay. But the upside is you can actually look and find out if it's located in the right location. They'll actually show you a preview on where the geometry will end up relative to the location. There you go. So this is good if you have a geometry like here. I'll show you in the back end here. Entities, entity types, explore, Cyber City V3, and let's search. Guess what? If it's a 3D model, you want to see where it is, you can actually pop it in. Okay. Is it not going up? Base E2. Oh, this is right. It's not doing that. Let's see. Let's try this one then. It's the same thing. Oh, there we go. Okay. LOD, which is basically a geometry. Let's see how it looks. There we go. It gives you the geolocation of the model, etc., etc. So let's see here. Why is it not showing the right one? Okay. Try another one. There we go. Yeah, I was pulling the wrong one. There we go. Now I'm going to show up. View navigator. It's the location. Okay, it's not doing that. Let's see. Huh. Strange. Okay, let's see here. Okay, this is more like it. There we go. Okay. So that's the 3D model. Show them geometry. And boom, there. Ooh, okay. So they're on high side. Let's see. Nope. We need this one. Okay. Where's the model? Is it still floating? Okay. Let's try this again. You're doing strange things today. Okay. Shoot there. Okay. Yeah, it's right there. Huh. And there's the model. 3D model. It's like, okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. Should be 0. There. There we go. Still not. There's the model. Okay. There we go. So the internal workings of the database. So any questions so far? I know I'm moving a little bit fast.
I guess my biggest question and what we
Yeah.
got to figure out is how am I going to get trained to where I'm not destroying what we have in the sandbox and not doing stuff and then what do
That's
we want me to
yeah.
do?
So what you do is my suggestion for you is actually go to the project view and create one, like a new training, like for instance, it's like I call it testing.
The
Uh, yeah,
testing sandbox.
test site. Yeah, exactly. The upside of it is it has the exact same thing as here in terms of availability. The upside is you are actually not changing any of the database and backend. You're just creating your own. So the menu items, you can look, this doesn't create anything. It doesn't destroy. As long as the sandbox is intact, everything will work. This is where you go in and start saying, okay, let me see if I can create. What are the database that I can test on? Like, for example, Nextspace entity, what is available for me to play around with? And you start looking at entity. Oh yeah, these are the things I have. This is the one I just brought in, etc., etc. So you can play around with it and then just figure out exactly what it is. It's just geometry. And from there, you can actually start creating all these default database like for buildings and so forth and so on. And you can do the styling on top of it and so forth and so on.
Okay.
And if you want, actually, let me see here. Tell you what, after this, I will send you all the links of all the videos that Nextspace has created for any kind of learning process. And you, from there, you can start getting a feel on how to go getting things done. And on top of that, I'm usually online on Teams. We can do a connect, and basically you'll see me online most of the time.
Okay.
And if you have a quick question, like a 10 or 5 minute online where we want to chat online, we can just call me. If I'm available, see a green marker next to my name, we can just jump on a video conference call or something like that and just walk you through whatever you're getting stuck at. And from there, you can actually kind of, for me, it seems faster rather than try to accumulate a 1 week worth of question and try to cram it within that one day or 1 2 hours. And from there, it's harder for you because then you don't get it. But when you're playing around with it, if I'm online, you can reach out to me. If not, just kind of store the question. Then we can do maybe once a week call or twice a week call where you want to get to me and kind of say what's going on here, why I'm not able to do this, and so forth and so on. Does that work for you?
That works for me.
Okay, I know this is a lot. This is so like this from left field. I know they threw in the deep end right now, and I don't blame you from having a nervous breakdown halfway through the whole thing. But at the same time, I guess you and I know that the only way you can learn is by using a hands-on. That's the only way I can think of right now. You can watch all sorts of video until you actually try to bring in your own project. So you would actually benefit more if you have a real project that you're working on that Abby or someone in your organization can say, can you do this using the Nextspace? Start using it and learn from it. And if it breaks, it breaks. Don't worry about it. As long as the database is recoverable, we can actually override it and go from there. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, we actually do have a setting where you actually have a backup. There we go.
Backup. Gotcha.
So yeah, so don't yeah. I'm actually, in fact, let me do this right now. There we go. Okay, so I know this right now is a lot, but like I said, I mean, once we get off, I'll send you the link. It has a huge library of database of videos and information and so forth and so on. You can actually take your time and go through it. It's not like right now they have a deadline for you, right? To kind of create a
Right.
project. Do they? I hope
No,
not.
they don't have any deadlines for any
Okay, so you
project
can
stuff.
actually take your time and try to kind of get yourself integrated and stuff like that. But like I said, I'll send you the video, and over the weekend when you have time, bring out your cell phone or something like that. Click on a link; they'll show you basically kind of slowly ingrain yourself into it. Do not jump deep end. It just I don't think it works. It just slowly. But like I
Right.
said, if you have a project, go ahead and start thinking about it and how you're gonna bring in, is that vector data? Is it a polygon? Is it a point file? And what do you want to show? Because a point file, in this case, like for Phoenix, they have a lot of point files, and I'll show you why. Because they like a lot of we call um I was we did one with like parking meters. It's a point file. And from the parking meter, they want to know exactly what are the parkings that they want to know the location. So in this way, parking meters. There you go. It's ugly, but the
Oh,
parking
wow.
meter is there. Yeah. So so I say there's a lot of points. Okay, well, like it's right there. But there you go. It's the parking meter, and it tells
Right.
you everything. Yeah. So bring in little small projects like that if you have any data that you have. But if your GIS department has data, I think who's that person in charge? I can't remember his name.
Harley.
Yes, and I've talked to him a few times on and off, and he has a treasure trove of data. And maybe you can ask him, what do you have? Maybe I can bring it in and like a bike pathway. This is bike path that they wanted to bring in. See, and guess what? It's a polyline. And from there, you can actually start testing and playing around with it. And it's like a whole bunch of lines that tells you what we call length of the mile and when is it, and just all sorts of data information from the street to the street, and basically go from there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I think that with those beginning videos and then with me just try, like you said, get a goal to do something and then see
yes,
if I'm
exactly.
able to do that
Yeah,
after looking at the videos and getting
correct.
my
Yeah.
feet wet in there and stuff. I think that's a
Yes,
good way to
exactly.
go.
Absolutely. And I'll send this video that we recorded, and basically you can reference it. But like I said, I think the one that links I sent you will be more useful because it gives you a variety of possible things, what to do, how to do, and go on and so on. And they
Sounds
have a
good.
huge treasure trove of database and that you can actually measure on. Yeah. So I hope this is helpful. I know it's a little bit overwhelming. I've been there before, so I know exactly how it feels. It's like until you kind of get it's dirty and basically just go from there. Otherwise, you're just guessing, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? And so on and so on.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds like I'll be interacting with Harley a lot, talking to him about possible data sets and everything,
Yes,
and
yes.
get me smart on the different file types and everything too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I agree. You should just have a discussion with him. Maybe this is like Wednesday. Hopefully you can catch him before the weekend. Maybe then you guys can come up with a strategy. What kind of database you want to bring in, and what is the next side project that you guys, because I've created all this from what so far. So I know this is not all of it. I think Abby has a lot of more to go. But like I said, I mean, this is just the beginning. The more you are more familiar with, but like I said, um, I'm always here to help. Like I said, I'm always online. Once we get off, should connect on Teams, and you send me a contact invite, then I can join with you. And anytime I'm online, you get any question, just kind of ping me a quick say, hey, you got 5 minutes? We can jump on the call and show, and you can share your screen and see what you're stuck at, and we can solve it from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks for taking the time to kind of do this. But like I said, I mean, they've done they earmark you to be the go-to man right now.
Hopefully I can get there soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Take care,
Okay,
Peter.
I'll talk to you soon.
Uh-huh.
Cheers. Okay,
Bye.
bye.